Alongside me. Are you well, and have you done all your Christmas shopping? It's 10 days to go to the big day.
I've done most of it. Tomorrow I have a day off, so I'll be doing the rest of my shopping tomorrow, and then I'll be finished nice and early.
Happy with your selection so far?
Yeah, very much so. Have you done all yours?
I've got one big one to do. That's the fella.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's about it.
So where's mine then?
Anyway,
let's
move on quickly then, shall we? All from Clinton to Cam. But look, earlier I did join Jamie Carragher as he prepares for the Monday Night Football, of course, to discuss the weekend's biggest talking points. Hi there, I've just come into the Monday Night Football ahead of the big game tonight alongside Jamie Carragher. Lovely to see you. It is, of course, Manchester United against Bournemouth. We'll get to that in a bit, though. Let's start with the weekend action then, because obviously the top three all won. Arsenal's performance, though, not so convincing. Do you feel that was kind of coming, though, judging by the performances that have been happening?
They've conceded a few late goals.
Yeah.
You think of Sunderland, Aston Villa, now that Wolves one. It was a huge goal for them, that. I think psychologically more than just the points as well. It almost felt like, I mean, listening to people after the game, it almost felt like they'd lost the league if they would have finished 1-1. That's how they feel at the moment a little bit, with Manchester City coming, putting a bit of pressure on. But I think that the one thing to take from it, even though it wasn't Jesus' goal, it was given as an own goal, the impact he's had coming back in the last few weeks, and I think he's got a big part to play for Arsenal going forward. I really do. They've got a lot of options now in the centre forward position. That's something we're going to get into tonight with Olivier Giroud. So yeah, it should be interesting. I don't feel right now that they've got a real out-and-out world class striker or player who can play in that position, but they've got a lot of players who have got a lot of qualities that I think they'll have to use all of them between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, their strength in depth is really good, isn't it? You mentioned City. They're coming up along the rails, aren't they? And another exquisite performance from them, you'd have to say, this weekend.
I'd call it exquisite result. I think performance-wise, I think Crystal Palace played really well in the first half and probably would be a little bit disappointed that they didn't go in front. Actually, I think Glasner after the game said that was a better performance from Crystal Palace than he had in the cup final, where they beat where they beat Man City at Wembley. But Manchester City rode the luck. But when you've got a fella like him up front, it's just one chance and it's a goal. And I mean, he's just absolutely phenomenal, isn't he? You just never think he's going to miss every time he gets a chance. And again, that's a big worry for Arsenal as well going forward.
Yeah, he does make the difference, doesn't he? And then, of course, Aston Villa go on and get the win as well. Wow. Are they in the title race?
They are, yeah, they're there. So you can't not talk about them as title contenders. The run they're on is fantastic. I think the run they're on now, Dave Jones said yesterday that even though Liverpool won the league last year, they'd never been on as good a run as that at any time last season. So the job that Unai Emery and those Aston Villa players are doing, considering the start of the season that they had, which was really poor, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. Can they keep it going? The only way they can keep it going is if that guy keeps going, Morgan Rogers. We said yesterday on Extra Time that for Aston Villa to have a genuine chance of the title, they'll need one of their players to be in the running for PFA Player of the Year, basically be one of the best players in the Premier League. He's the only one who I can see who can actually do that. He won the PFA Young Player of the Year last year. Could he go on and do the double and do it this year?
Yeah, you'd think he could in the form that he's in.
I think if he keeps going the way he is, certainly had a slow start to the season, but the run he's in right now, if that keeps going, Villa keep winning as well, he's got a great shot.
You've been waxing lyrical about his manager as well, Unai Emery. What makes him so special then? And you think he's, the second best manager in the Premier League at the moment?
Listen, there's no doubt Pep Guardiola is arguably the greatest manager in the world right now, maybe ever. So it takes a lot to beat him with his accomplishments. But, you think of Slot, did a brilliant job with the Premier League. You think of Arteta, the job he's done at Arsenal as well. But you think of the body of work Unai Emery's done in different countries, different clubs, the trophies he's won. Yeah, you think of experience and quality, longevity in the game as well. I think there's only Pep who can, as I said, eclipse him.
OK, you mentioned, we saw a bit of Foden, didn't we, in the Manchester City game as well, and you obviously mentioned Rodgers as well. Palmer obviously scored as well at the weekend. How do you see England's number 10 sort of shaping up? Where do you see that?
Wow.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
It's really tough. And we actually thought it was tough just because we had Bellingham, Palmer and Foden. No one was really bringing Morgan Rodgers to the party at all, but credit to Thomas Tuchel. He hasn't gone with the big names. He's gone who he thinks is better for his system and how he wants to play. And it's been Morgan Rodgers. Bellingham, I think, had it in the last game, so it'll be really interesting how he tries to fit him in. He's mentioned Phil Foden almost like a false nine or a centre forward at different times in the last camp. But he is a special talent. He was one of the players of the years, I think, a year or so ago as well. Last season, probably wasn't at his best at some stages of the season, but then you look at what he does to PSG in the final of the World Club Cup, and they were the best team in the world last season, so he's a special player as well. And how do you fit them all in? I don't know. That's what he's paid for, Thomas
Exactly,
Tuchel.
he is paid a little bit of money to do that. We've talked about Chelsea as well. What did you make of Enzo Maresca's comments there? Do you think there's something going on behind the scenes that's not quite right there at the moment?
Yeah, something isn't right at Chelsea, whether this has been brewing for a while or it's something just over the last sort of week, 10 days, when you go off the quotes of Maresca and that he hasn't had much support in the last 48 hours on the back of the defeat in Atalanta. So I think if you're a Chelsea fan, they're worrying quotes. Because I'm a big fan of Maresca, and we'll get into this in a bit more detail tonight. And it looks like there's a little bit of a power play starting already, and that never bodes well, especially for a manager.
Yeah, well,
that's great news. Good news. I thought it'd be out longer than that. Good news.
Yeah, just good news. OK, we'll get the team news with you very shortly. Thanks, Clinton, for that. Doubling up as a reporter, which is great to get the money at you. Look, let's talk about the title race now. Would you say it's a three-way split? Obviously, the top three all won. Villa, be careful, because Dave Reed sat right next to you.
I know, but listen, I think I'd look at Arsenal and Man City and say it's between them two. I'm not writing Aston Villa. I just said to Dave that I'll judge Aston Villa in the next 4 or 5 games.
OK.
But they've been outstanding. Aston Villa has been outstanding. Unai Emery has done a fantastic job. Even at the weekend when they're losing, I'm thinking, they could drop points here, and then they turn it on. So, and the next run against Villa are very, very tough, where Man City's fixture of games are good. Man City could go top anyway next week. They play earlier. Arsenal are away at Everton, and Man City got West Ham at home, and yes, probably expect them in the form they're in at the minute to go top. So then it puts pressure back on Arsenal, and Arsenal at the moment, I think, are feeling the pressure with I know they had but the result on the weekend is a massive result for Arsenal, because even though they didn't play well, they still managed to get the 3 points.
If it was Chelsea in Aston Villa's position, would you then say it was a 3?
No, you know why? No. I still wouldn't. I don't, because I've watched Chelsea at this moment in time. I think that even though Chelsea's squad is bigger than Aston Villa's, the only reason I don't put Villa in it is because of your squad depth. I just feel like if someone gets an injury, like maybe a Konza, who comes in and replaces him, I think he's outstanding. He's one of the best centre-backs there is. But in midfield, very strong. If you can keep that midfield free and then you bring in the likes of Buendia, then you've got a good chance. And then I think the problem position for you is the centre forward. Without Oli, I know Marlon's come in and done well, and Watkins is not really. He scored 2, and obviously he needs to get back and firing. But I think he needs to be challenged, Watkins, someone to put pressure on him. But it's a good question, that is. But no, I still think it wouldn't be Chelsea. But in 4 or 5 games, I think it's a different conversation. If Villa are still doing... Listen, we have to talk about Villa, because at this moment in time, Villa are in the title race. They're definitely in the title race. The job the manager's done is fantastic, out of this world. And they've been brilliant.
Is anyone else in that title race? Do you put anyone else?
No. I know what you're trying to get to, Vic, at the moment with Liverpool. And listen...
Not necessarily Liverpool, but I'm saying they are 10
Well,
points.
no, but they would be the next team I'd be thinking about, for sure, Liverpool, because they got the capability of going on a good run at the moment. I think the gap at this moment in time is a bit too big. But you never know. That's not to say if Man City or Arsenal start dropping points and Liverpool can go on that great run. But there's still a long way to go. As I said, ask me in February and March, it might be a different conversation. If Villa stayed there or thereabouts, they're 100% in the title race.
You might not be back here in February.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Look, Dave, we are about, as Clinton said, it's a really busy period, isn't it? And not only have we got all these games, but also we've got that window wide open. And then lots of people do shuffle about as well. So it's a busy period, right?
Yeah, and the table is so congested as well. Things can change on just a single weekend. But you're right, it is a crucial period coming up. Everyone loves the Christmas period. We can have a look at the next 6 fixtures for the current top 3. And interestingly, if you look at the Arsenal fixtures here, Arsenal failed to win all of those corresponding fixtures last season.
Wow.
And if you think about the kind of form that Arsenal are in, are they in a bit of a mini wobble at the moment? I know they got the result against Wolves, but that might strike a little bit of fear into Arsenal supporters, the fact that they couldn't get the job done against those sides in those fixtures last season. Then you look at Villa's next 3, Manchester United, Chelsea, and then they go to the Emirates. Maybe Manchester City might be looking at this and saying, we can really put the pressure on Arsenal between now and the new year. And then, as you say, we've got the transfer window coming. Is there any availability of players that maybe Arsenal, Manchester City could bring forward from their summer targets that might be able to help them. You wonder exactly whether there is going to be any financial wriggle room for Aston Villa, but if they feel like they can make a deal happen in order to push them towards Champions League football or maybe a title race, then maybe they might be able to find a way to do it. They did it last year with Marco Asensio and Marcus Rashford, so they have history of doing that. Unai Emery has managed to do fantastic work with that group of players so far. Can they kick on in the new year?
And what Dave could throw to me is, no one thought Leicester were going to do it, and Leicester did it. So he could throw that easily.
He won't, though.
No, he won't do, because he's professional. He is
Yeah.
a professional. But
We know that.
they could do it, Villa. They could do it. Listen, those next 3 games are crucial to them. I didn't know them run of games that Arsenal have. That is tough. Man City have got some tough ones in there, but you'd probably want Man City's games at the moment. But the run of games, Arsenal's next 6 are really, really tough. That could define it. That could define it, because Man City at the moment obviously are in great form. But you look at the run of games, they've got Villa. They've got Villa again to play, which is going to be a difficult game. Bournemouth, Liverpool, Forest, who have picked up. Brighton's always a hard one. Everton away. So there's a lot of tough games in there for Arsenal. But at the same time, Vic, there's no easy games in the Premier League. People are fighting for their lives. People are trying to get into Europe. So it's going to be different. The only thing I worry about with Villa but they're doing well at that, is they got the Europa League. But I think they're already secured in it, because so you can rest key players. But that's why I think with their squad, because they've got the Thursday, Sunday, but they've got a good chance. It's wide open. I think you lot are trying to sway my mind. You did know I used to play for Birmingham City, so I can't give them too much of their flowers, because I won't be allowed back in the city on the blue half.
But just to final say on Aston Villa, they are an attractive prospect as well. So if any players thinking of a move in January, you'd go to Villa, wouldn't you?
100%.
So,
and the manager, innit, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at Morgan Rogers, who's in amazing form at the moment, and really, you look at where he started this season, there were some Aston Villa fans that jeered Morgan Rogers in a Europa League game when past, and you look at how much he has improved this season. If you look at points won from goal involvements, there 12 points. His goals and assists have contributed to Aston Villa, only behind Bruno Fernandes. So you can see how vital he is for Aston Villa moving forward this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Arsenal then, because it wasn't the best performance, and they knew it. That some of their players were really angry. What do we think about Victor Gyökeres? 15 touches there was for his 81 minutes. Gabriel Jesus, on the other hand, came on for a little cameo and had 9 touches.
Different. You know what it is? Different games, you play different strikers. That game against Wolves, Victor Gyökeres wasn't a striker. Do you know why? There's no space in behind. Wolves basically defended on the 6-yard, on their 18-yard box or their 6-yard box, and said there's no space. Gyökeres is not a player that wants to come to the ball, because that's not his game. What he wants to do is run down the channel and open up space for the likes of the Ezes in there, the Sakas and the Madueke, Martinelli, whoever's playing their older guards. So that game was totally different. With Jesus is a different footballer. You've seen him when he was at Man City. He can play on either wing, but he drops into little pockets and he's good technically. Really
so you're
good.
telling me that Arteta got that wrong and he should have started with Jesus?
No, I'd never say Arteta got it wrong. He hasn't got it wrong, but I think you see what Gyökeres offers Arsenal, which is different. He occupies defenders. So at Villa Park, I would have started Gyökeres in that game at Villa Park to, test the likes of Konza, where he started Marino, where everything was in front of them, and that's what they want. You ask any defender, they don't want to run back to their goal. With Wolves, the way Wolves defended deep, there was no space for Gyökeres, and you saw Jesus come on and made a big impact. But that result could be crucial to Arsenal at the end of the season. They win the game and they didn't score. They didn't score, did they? No. The goals are all scored by Wolves players, aren't they? Mm-hmm. But it's a big result. Not playing at your best and still getting 3 points could be a big result for Arsenal. I can guarantee you last year, Arsenal lose that game. You've
got about 10 seconds just to quickly say about your beloved Palace and how they did against City. Worrying performance from City, the fact that they're just galloping along there?
Yeah, Man City are very good. Palace missed a lot of chances. Palace are doing well, though. But, yeah, Man City are flying at the moment. I'd be worried if I was at Arsenal, because they look like they're playing ever so well at the minute. They look like they're cooking very well at the moment.
That was me, Gab.
It's Chelsea. So we'll start our conversation of the Premier League there, Olivier. What have you made of their progress this season? You know, they won the Club World Cup, of course, in the summer. Yeah. Did you expect them to be challenging for the title this season?
Well, I've seen them performing at the Club World Cup competition. I did play with LA Football Club. I've been really impressed by this team. But to be honest with you, when you have so many young players in the room. It's kind of a different period than when I was there back in the days. They are doing a great job, but I think they still need some time to compete for the title race. They are quite there, fourth at the table, but I think they are really happy to have Cole Palmer back. He's already on the score sheet, but I think they need time to fight for the title race, and consistency, and maybe a number 9 who will, help them to win something. I believe the players in the room are very talented, but maybe not proper 9 like back in the days. Didier Drogba was amazing. So don't get me wrong, they are very good, talented players, but I think we've seen the stats before, and they need to score more goals, I think.
We'll show you the graphic that you're talking about, Olivier. You're talking about experience, you're talking about number 9. I wonder if you're talking about yourself, actually.
Well, it's too late.
But this is the curiosity of Chelsea this season.
Yeah.
When they have whoever has started as the number 9, the central striker, in the starting 11, they've contributed only 1 goal. Yes, João Pedro has scored more than that, but operating as a 10 quite often there. But they've scored more goals from midfield than any other team, and more from defence than any other team. It's just that curiosity, isn't it, about that starting central striker. But Chelsea needed that victory. It had been a period of inconsistency, as Olivier was saying. They got the job done against Everton, but really the headlines were made after the game by the comments of Enzo Maresca.
After a complicated week, since I joined the club, the last 48 hours has been the worst 48 hours since I joined the club, because many people didn't support us. So very happy for Malo in that moment, that the effort from Malo, from the rest, show that they are all there and they want to help this club.
Interesting. So today he was asked to clarify those comments in his press conference ahead of the Carabao Cup tie with Cardiff. He chose not to. He said he'd said all he wanted to say on Saturday night. So by doing so, Jamie, by refusing to clarify, there's still, I suppose, this uncertainty really about who he was talking about.
It's not uncertain. He's speaking about the owner and the sporting directors. And I think this is a classic case that we see at a lot of clubs now, where you have a head coach, not a manager, and sporting directors. And what you get is the coach comes in initially and agrees to the terms and conditions, but then he feels like yes, but then he feels like he's done a really good job, and he has done a great job getting Champions League football last season, winning a European competition, and winning the Club World Cup. So then slowly he feels like he should get more power. He'll be really disappointed by Chelsea not going into the market and buying a centre-back in the summer when Colwill got the big injury. So in the last few weeks, the results have just turned on him a little bit. So he's calling something out, that he wants something in the public, which I don't agree with. We spoke about Mo Salah last week. This is not as extreme, but it's a similar sort of situation. I don't like people going public, whether it's a manager or a player. You sort it in-house. But the problem for Enzo Maresca is, if he continues like this, there's only going to be one winner, and it's not him.
Well, we should talk about the job that he's done so far at Chelsea, and we can put that in statistical terms when we see the amount of points he's amassed since taking over at Chelsea. And he's in 5th place. And interestingly, there's not a huge gap between the top 2 there, Liverpool and Arsenal, and Chelsea. Only 13 points difference since Maresca came in, and as Jamie's saying, he's won the trophies as well. The UEFA Conference League, the Club World Cup, he's talked about today. He's talked about the fact that if they beat Cardiff, they're into the 3rd semi-final of his time. So if this is a falling out, Jamie, and if there is a split and this split widens, who stands to lose more from this situation? Is it Chelsea or is it Enzo Maresca?
I think it'll just be Maresca, because we are talking about Chelsea being one of the most coveted jobs, I would say, in European football. But the one thing you can't throw at Maresca is he's not capable at this level. We're talking about Manchester United tonight and Ruben Amorim. We're going to speak to him later in the next part. And there's still that question mark. Is he capable of coaching at the highest level against the best coaches in the Premier League? We don't know. I wouldn't say that about Maresca. When you look at his record, it's fantastic what he's done. Because I think the actual squad of players Chelsea have, they're nowhere near competing with those top 3 teams. So for Maresca to have done what he's done so far, and that what makes him feel confident enough to try and take the owners on or the sporting directors, because he feels, I've done enough. I'm not sure I could do much more than that. And I'm not sure he can with the squad that they've got. But going forward, where can Maresca go that's better than Chelsea? I'm not sure. Now, Chelsea as a club will feel we can go and get another manager. They could. Could they get someone better than Maresca? Maybe. But when you look at what's gone on at Spurs in the last couple of years, when you look at what's gone on at Manchester United in the couple of years, you can easily go and get a manager who is not at that level. Maresca can go up against any manager, as he's proved, that it's Pep Guardiola, Arne Slot, Barcelona, the Champions League. He's more than capable tactically and as a top coach.
Olivier, do you think it is possible for Enzo Maresca to achieve more with the squad he has, or do you think without those senior players, it's not possible to fight for the title?
As I said before, he needs a striker who is consistent. He needs to find the good player, the player who will score goals every single week. He's got so many talent in the room, but I think he needs maybe more experience. The squad is very young. And he's doing well. You see the records like since August 24. He's there and he's competing, he's fighting with top teams, as we said, with amazing squads. Maybe he feels he needs 1 or 2 more players, maybe one centre back and another proper number 9. But I like a lot talking number 9. I like a lot Delap. If we let him settle well and a bit of time, I think he can be the type of striker who can do the job. But I think Maresca is doing well so far. He's 4th at the table and they won the last game, so I'm not too much worried about the situation.
I don't think Maresca is manager of Chelsea next season.
Oh, okay. Regardless of what happens?
No. I think when you come out and speak like your ownership like that and you start going public, that's a big problem. I don't see him there next season.
We will watch that.
Indumentaria, la Kings Limited Gold Edition. Solo hay 50 unidades de todos los equipos y también puede ser vuestra entrando en kingsleague.pro. Así que es los datos a tener en cuenta en cuanto a indumentarias. Gran partido, Gonzalo, Gerard, el que tenemos por delante.
Ojo, estilo La Bombonera, estadio de River.
Hostia, más minutos de retraso en el inicio, ¿eh? Ya tenemos lío.
Lo llamó Edo, dibujando la parábola sobre la banda derecha, donde en el vértice del área aparece Nadir. ¡Nadir para adentro! ¡Gol! De Nadir Lua, que tiene una facilidad pasmosa. Encuentra a Pablo, qué balón para Nadir para el segundo. Se zafa de Cócera, es un golazo. ¡Es un golazo! Señoras, señores, bienvenidos al show de Nadir Lua. Pibe.
El mejor.
Vamos
haciendo espionaje, ¿eh? Vaya mierda dado, pibe. Va, ya te puedes ir a la cúpula a comer, va.
Hay que salir Cócera para entregar hacia el centro. Se la regala Coy, le puede pegar Coy para adentro.
Vaya chicha, nano.
¡Gol! De Porcinos Óscar Coy. Pues sí.
Pero es que, señores,
Pero te lo dije,
Tenemos, ¿cómo lo usamos?
penalti.
¿Será penalti?
Cuni.
Puede meter en el partido a Cuni. Jordi para adentro, qué golazo.
¡Guau!
¡Dios!
¡Gol!
partido eso, dale.
Vamos con Nadir Luay, con Laura Vizcaíno.
Pues sí, Nadir, 2 goles, victoria y a cuartos, enhorabuena.
Sí, sabíamos que el partido iba a ser muy importante porque veníamos de una muy mala dinámica. El equipo ha estado bien, sufríamos defensivamente y creo que hemos estado muy juntitos. Y nada, primer objetivo cumplido.
Os espera Science, rival complicado, imagino.
Sí, empatamos contra ellos y en shootout perdimos. Ha quedado segundo por algo. Nada, concentración, confianza con nosotros mismos y intentar ganar para el sábado estar en el Wizzing.
Os lo veremos mañana, mucha suerte.